Hey guys, what's up? I'm gonna get right after it today. We've had a project that we've been planning for months to show up here at the shop, and I've been ordering some parts and getting some of the hard parts here to get started on this thing. And we finally had it roll in, scheduled to come in here, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what we're doing and why we're doing that stuff. So without further ado, let me show you the truck. What's up, Steven?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
So we've got a 88 or 89, I think it's a 6 of 88, 3/4 ton, four-wheel drive, OBS Ford, as they're referred to these days. And we are gonna do quite the transformation to this truck. Obviously right now it's small block Ford, gas powered, and running a twin traction beam front axle.
Junk.
Exactly. For those who don't know what a twin traction beam is, it's basically a play on words. This is the geometry under the front end of this thing is very similar to what Ford uses in their two-wheel drive vehicles, even up till now on the heavy duty stuff, called a twin I-beam. And you can see the pivot point is here for this side, and so this moves independent. And then this side has a pivot point on the back side. You can't really see it, but it's back here. And this part of the axle moves independent.
It's almost like IFS kind of.
Yeah, and it definitely. And so this was Ford's version of independent front suspension. And it was a bad idea, honestly. These pieces are stamped steel, and they're notorious for bending, rusting, breaking, flexing. You have multiple U-joints that run on the inside of the half shafts in this thing. These axles have a lot of problems.
They wear tires bad too, don't they?
They wear tires bad because the motion that wheel travels in, you can actually see that the tire is sitting in a little bit at the top, and it's because of the geometry of the way the front axle works. As this tire moves, if you hit a bump, this tire moves in an arc like this, and it wears tires because it does that. It's not your conventional upper A-arm, lower A-arm keeps the tire pretty true as it goes through its motion. This causes an arc, and it wears tires. They're really hard to align and keep consistently aligned because you've got a lot of stuff under here that flexes, and it brings the alignment out and it makes the trucks handle weird. You've got, like, you can see that the negative arch in the spring on this thing, so that ends up with a weird ride because your shackle's not really able to extend and come back. You end up with the spring kind of working like a buggy spring on like an old buggy, and you get a weird steering geometry and weird suspension feel. So the first thing we're going to do is pluck this small block Ford and make it a boat anchor or throw it in the trash. I don't know if anybody's ever worked on 80s or 90s fuel injected gas stuff, basically any of them.
Vacuum leaks.
Yeah.
Over here, I might need to fix.
Sorry guys, but our opinion on that is going to be that is junk, okay? Permanent junk. You're not going to change my mind.
Boo!
Yeah, exactly. Unless we're building a full rod small block Ford, then I'm game. But this version, absolutely not. So that's getting slung. This twin traction beam up here, this junk, that's getting slung. These are junk, and we'll go into more of that when we pull this thing out. I'll show you more of why that you don't want to run that. We're gonna swap in late model axles out of an 06 Ford.
Yep.
We
got 06 spring buckets that are gonna go in here, so it's gonna go to a coil spring. Get rid of the sagged out leaf springs, so it'll have radius arms or control arms that come up to spring bucket, 06 steering, 06 gearbox, all 06 Ford stuff that you can actually buy, and it's strong, not junk.
And then
rear axles also.
Yeah, rear axle's coming out. This one, it's a gas truck, so I'm not sure if it's got a Sterling 10.25 in it or not. Let's see. Yes, it does. Not gonna say those are junk, but I'm not gonna say they're my favorite. They are pinion bearing eating little axles from our experience. Doesn't mean they're junk, just not my favorite. Truck's actually pretty clean on the inside. Nothing real special. El Manual windows over here. Basic stuff on the inside, but clean.
Yeah,
very
we
clean.
won't have the automatic shifter anymore.
Auto delete, because this truck's going to a 5-speed. And guess what we're putting under the hood? You guessed it, Cummins.
A 12er.
First thing we're gonna do is get this motor pulled out, small block Ford, and get ready for the 12 valve Cummins that's going in here. Pull this junk twin traction beam out of the front, along with the automatic transmission, the transfer case out of this truck, and the Sterling 10 1/4 that's in the back, and get this whole thing prepped for the bucket Steven was talking about to run late model Super Duty. That would be like your 6.0 Power Stroke, radius arm, high pinion, the axle that literally I believe that was made for all the aftermarket guys.
Yeah,
They're just badass. You can do everything.
Guys swap those in and everything.
They're awesome. What a gift. So we're getting this truck prepped up so we can pull all the junk out and put all the good stuff in. Let's walk over here real quick and we'll show you what it is that we're going to put in this thing and why we're going to do that. As far as driveline stuff goes, we're going to an NV4500 full rebuild, updated main shaft on the backside, nut, and journal lock and all that for 5th gear. Running an 1 3/8" input shaft so that we can be as ugly to it as we want. This is the strongest shaft you can buy for an NV4500. They make a billet and a cast version. The cast versions we've put a lot of power through, 650, 700, and depending on how hard you are on the clutch and how much the truck weighs, you can break them. But billet is you're not going to break that. Running a single disc clutch from Valair, as always, 1 3/8" hub.
I think it's a brass organic. It's
Brass.
rated at like 450 or 500 horse.
Cool. I think our target power for this truck is somewhere around like
450.
Yeah, 450. Transfer case side, we're running in a NV271, and this is the same transfer case that comes in a lot of stuff in about 2006 up to about 2010, 11, 12, depending on what manufacturer. These are really, really good transfer cases. This is a manual shift version, 271. If it was an electronic motor, it'd be a 273. But they run a big 29 spline input. It's got a big giant chain on the inside. These things will handle 1,500 plus horsepower. The chain is typically the part that stretches, but they take a lot of abuse before you've got to get back in there and recondition it. They're really silent, and they've got a decent crawl ratio. I think it's like 272 or something. This is definitely going to be a great T-case for this setup, and extremely robust for what we're doing. Got upgraded hydraulics as well. They're going to go in there. And then, of course, the heart and soul of this thing is the 12 valve Cummins that we've got sitting on the engine stand right now. Now, this was a motor that Steven had gotten originally to put in like a 66 C30, wasn't it?
Yep.
We bought that truck. Really, really cool. Awesome patina. But somebody had to have it worse than we had to have it. So we got rid of the truck, ended up keeping the motor, and we had it here in the stash. And we have a really good customer that we've done a lot of work for. And this truck is for his son. So we made a couple of exceptions. We usually don't let go of our good stuff. This is a really good 12 valve motor. It's got good pistons, very, very, very little blow by.
It's a 215.
215 pump, P-pump, which is desirable. And so he actually asked if his son could come up here and kind of just learn some stuff with us. So he's been up here tearing this thing down. I'm sure y'all are going to see him more in this as this build of this truck goes along. He'll be involved in it. He's extremely stoked to be doing it, and we're excited too to have somebody up here excited to do this stuff that it reminds Steven and I think I can speak for the both of us.
The main thing is that free labor.
That's right.
That's what I'm all about. I need some more free labor around here.
Yeah, really. Take all that we could get. But it definitely reminds us of, the passion that we had to start doing this in the first place. It's cool to see that rekindled in some young guys.
This thing's also getting a new cylinder head, really.
Oh, cool.
And,
We got parts over here everywhere, guys. Looks like a bomb went off. But he's been in here this morning tearing stuff down. We're replacing the cylinder head, so no big deal there. Got with Power Stroke Products. We know those guys up here in Texas and Liberty Hill. Those dudes are awesome. Got a new cylinder head from them. Using their fasteners, Innovative Fastener Group. really nice studs. Not to mention, you can't buy studs for a 12 valve hardly anywhere. And we've been really thankful. We've had a relationship with these guys. We've been using Innovative for basically since they came out. Thanks to the Hamilton guys up there for making that stuff happen for us. So we're gonna stud that thing, new loaded cylinder head, valve springs, all your typical 12 valve stuff to make a little bit of power. We are running the stock camshaft in this truck for the power rating. It's not really worth throwing a cam in there. If we were gonna do something, we'd probably do a 178-208, but for the setup that we're gonna have and the condition of the motor, stock cam is gonna be plenty for what we wanna do. We're gonna do a mild buildup on that P-pump over there. Dual feed on this thing, 4K springs in this. We may touch on the delivery valve if we don't end up with enough fuel. We'll modify the stuff inside the AFC for the most travel as humanly possible. We're gonna make this thing as smoke-free as humanly possible and be willing to rev into the RPM range as well so that you can have a little bit of fun with this thing. So right now we're in the process of kind of getting everything torn down and getting a game plan for what we're gonna do. And as soon as the guys get back here from lunch, we are going to get started on the truck, pulling the motor and the other driveline stuff that's in our way at this point, and get ready to start putting this thing together. Y'all stay tuned. Parts are going to be showing up daily, and we'll be covering this thing. It's going to be a really, really cool project.
It's going to be awesome.
Y'all stick around. Check it out.
Later.
Laters.